it's so hard to go from working for someone where you work, 5-8 hours and then you get a paycheck like after 2 weeks.
Right.
And all you had to do was just be there. And it's like going from that to working for months without any pay in hopes that it works.
Right.
And then doing that over and over and over again. It's like it's a punch in the face, man. It's true. It's kind of like the same thing. And it's just hoping and believing in yourself enough to push through that work. And that's probably the biggest differentiator between success and failure in this game is if you see it as a failure or a lesson and believing that you can learn from it and then succeed, or if that's it and it's over.
Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Tranquil Turtle Massage. Tracy over there, the founder, she's a small town girl from Montana, loves God, loves her family, loves her friends, loves working out, fishing, and camping. She has a passion for helping those in need and enjoys being creative with woodworking, crocheting, healthy baking, pottery, and cooking. Look, she began her massage journey back in 2010 where she graduated from massage school up in Anchorage, Alaska. She specializes in her signature massages, the Hanu Infusion and the Hanu Ashiatsu, as well as the Gua Sha and manual lymphatic drainage. If you're looking for a massage specialist and someone who can get you feeling good, go see Tracy down at Tranquil Turtle Massage. And while you're there, check out CDA Microblading, offering Coeur d'Alene's best tattoo brows, plasma fibroblast, tightening, and PMU services right there in the heart of downtown Coeur d'Alene. Make sure you book your appointment at pnwmobilemassage.com. Tyler, you're an entrepreneur, founder of Squatch Dogs, a psychological performance coach with Tony Robbins Organization. You just launched an NFT project called Light Bodies and much more, man. Thank you so much for your time, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you. You great guy. Great host.
You and I, like, we met at a yard sale, oddly enough, which is really funny. And then you ended up like going to the same high school that my wife did, obviously a few years later,
which is just nuts.
And
that's
we don't
just
even live
crazy,
in the same state, right? So funny, dude. But I love to go back with my guests. Like, where did you grow up? What was childhood like for you?
So I grew up in Ravensdale, Washington.
Okay.
I think we moved to the house that I grew up completely in when I was 3 years old. So I basically grew up in the same place all my life. And that was basically in the sticks, in the woods, on kind of like a ranch. So my parents have, a little bit of property. And so I didn't have like next door neighbors, didn't have like a sidewalk, always, I fed the chickens in the morning, cleaned the stalls once a week for the horses, kind of like a small redneck style city or town with like one market. Yeah. Right. And so, never really was able to have a lot of like, I think I had like one main childhood friend. And then once I went into high school, I kind of like ventured out and my mom drove me to the neighborhood so I could hang out with all the other kids. Yeah. But always kind of been a loner, I guess, someone who kind of like is pretty individual. I guess I took a lot of influence from my parents because that's all I hung out with, right? Is my parents. So I never really got that influence of the other kids' decisions. I was always one to make my own decisions. And my parents always let me, they've treated me like an adult since I was like 12. So nice. I was always able to make my own mistakes, learn from them, and then take what I learned from those mistakes and apply it to my decisions in the future, instead of my parents always telling me, do this, do this, do this. And if you don't do it, then you're going to get in trouble. They kind of let me make my own decisions, which has really helped me out in the long run for sure.
I love that. My parents allowed me to make my own decisions as well, but I made the very wrong decisions for a long time.
Which is why, you're making the right ones now, right?
Totally. You
had to learn from them.
So having your parents like being those influencers for you, are they the ones that kind of pushed you and motivated you to go into entrepreneurship, or how did you get kind of going in that direction?
Yeah. So my parents, they've owned a septic service company for, I think, like 25 years. Nice. And they started that before they even had me. I think I was like a year in my dad's balls before I was in my dad's. I was pre-birth for like a year before, or when they actually started the company. So
yeah,
since I was born, they've been on their own, having their own business, working for themselves. And they never told me to start my own business, but I just saw how much better it is. Cause I saw, you know, my parents, and then I saw and then I hung out with all the other people. Not that, you know, there's two types of businesses. There's one where it's basically you own a job, and then there's one where you can create financial freedom. And I kind of was able to see, you know, the difference between employee, you know, business owner that is basically business operator, and then business owner. And I was able to kind of like figure out what I wanted to do based on that stuff. And neither of my parents went to college, but they ended up, you know, doing really well for themselves with their own business. But I saw my dad still, he busts his ass, literally goes to work the day after he just had a heart attack while he was working, because, you know, it's just what you got to do as a business owner when you operate the business. And so I'm like, okay, well, I like the fact that they're able to make massive lives for themselves by owning their own business. They don't have bosses to tell them when they can take vacations and when they can't. But I also don't want to be the one having to work after I just had a heart attack because it's my business and I got to show up. So I kind of was able to look from afar growing up and decide what I kind of wanted to do. And I think I found the right spot.
Come on. Oh, that's awesome, man. And you and I, we have this mutual love for Tony Robbins. I'm a big fan, been a fan of his for a long time. And it's a bucket list of mine for sure to go to one of his live events at some point. But you are a psychological performance coach with this organization. How did you get into that? What was that journey like to get to that level?
So basically that I got that certification when in 2020. Okay. Because what happened was I started I started Squatch Dogs in 2018, and our first year was kind of rough because I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really have that stonewall belief that I was going to be able to make it. Like basically all of success lies in the mind, and I didn't figure that out until after that year, because I kind of self-sabotaged my entire business in 2018. And I was like trying to find answers as to how it happened. And so my dad, when I first got out of high school, I borrowed this Tony Robbins tape, this Tony Robbins, you know, course from my dad, and it was The Power of Influence. And that really helped me through a lot of stuff in that time. But I was like, okay, well, that helped me through that time. Let's get a new course that he made and check it out. And so I got this course called The Ultimate Edge. And I took that course from like October of September, and I used it in my business and took the same principles and used it with myself, all dove deep into like the subconscious limiting beliefs that I had that were preventing me from moving to the next level, and basically took all the principles from those tapes and implemented them all in between the season of 2018 and the season of 2019. And using those principles just in that 6-month span, I was able to go from making $13,000 in revenue. That's not even profit in revenue in 2018 to making over 6 figures in just 6 months with the same business that I had the year prior. I just was able to light this fire inside of myself and just kick ass and just keep my head down and focus. And it was just my fiance and I, and we just went crazy. And I basically can delegate all of that power to the work that I did over that 6-month span. And so when that happened, I was like, wow, if I can make that big of a difference between 13,000 and what I did this year, like, this is not just me. Like, I can share this information to mass amounts of people and like help them do this same thing in their own lives. And so I was preparing for the season of 2020. I had just bought another setup because I was going to do double what we did in 2019 in 2020. And I was going to have 2 setups, and I was going to be like the manager of both of them. And then COVID happened and it completely tanked everything. The way we did it was doing like giant events where there's 50,000 people. And so all of that went out the window. And so we basically had to just figure it out. And so I'm like, okay, well, this may not, if it depends on what happens in the future, but I'm not going to just bet on the future being back to normal, because I don't think it will ever go back to normal. And so I'm like, okay, well, what kind of value do I have personally that I can use to start like another business? And so I took the knowledge of what I learned in that 6-month period of growth, and I wanted to share it. But I also like had this subconscious belief that like, oh, well, I'm not a good enough product to sell just myself. So I went and took this 100-hour certification from Tony himself, from Tony Robbins Organization, just because that helped me so much. And I kind of just love his way of teaching. And yeah, that was in, I think I finished it in September of 2020.
Okay. Come on, man. That's awesome, dude. You know, and you talked about limiting beliefs and stuff like that. When people hire you as a coach, what is that biggest struggle, or that number one struggle that you tend to see people come to you with? Like, is it that limiting beliefs, or is it something else?
Well, it's all limiting beliefs. It's like, you just have to uncover them. Yeah. And a lot of people are wanting to like make more money and kind of, you know, get to the next level financially. And there's always going to be that money blockage that says, well, I'm not worthy of that money. I'm not responsible enough to do the things that money is going to require of me to do. And so what you'll see is we'll make a plan. We'll start implementing things. We'll start heating up. You'll start getting, you know, better and better things. You'll start seeing progress. And then that subconscious belief, it's like a thermostat set at like 68 degrees, things start heating up to 72, and it scares you. It's like, whoa, I don't know if I'm worthy. I don't know if I'm like ready for this type of stuff. And so you'll start to kick the AC on, and you'll bring the room back to 68. And it's just about getting through that threshold of, I don't know if I'm the type of person that can do this. It's about reprogramming your subconscious to like believe that can happen for you. And that's the biggest hurdle, is just getting over that belief, man.
Yeah. Oh man, I think I struggled with that for so long. Yeah. And I mean, it's so good that you're in that and you're helping people with that. I wanted to shift a little bit to this NFT project you just launched. I don't really know anything about NFTs other than it's made a lot of money for a lot of people that are in it there. But you launched Light Bodies NFT. For those who don't know, what is NFT and what is Light Bodies NFT, and how can people get involved with this?
Okay. It's kind of the whole space is a little complicated, so I'm going to try to break it down.
Yeah.
Simplify it. So basically, when you look at cryptocurrency, you can compare it to like fiat currency, or kind of, it's decentralized, and there's only a certain supply. You can't print it like they're doing with the dollar. Right. And so you look at like what real life currency is. It's like you have the dollar, which is the currency, and then you have assets like real estate. Like some people invest in art. You know, you can invest in like a fleet of cars and rent them out to people. It's like you have assets like in Monopoly, right? You buy properties, you can buy, you know, companies, all these different things. You can buy so many different assets that aren't physical cash. And so basically what an NFT is, it's called a non-fungible token. That's what the acronym is. And it's like you store your crypto in an asset that's digital, and then it hopefully appreciates over time, and then you can sell it for more money than you paid for it. Gotcha. And basically what the big projects are doing is it's basically just art. It's like profile pictures, and they don't really have much utility. And so, but people are still buying them because they're still appreciating, because the space is just blowing up right now. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, I don't really see much value myself in this scene. And I'm sure a lot of other people don't either. That's why a lot of people aren't getting into it. They're just watching it. And so I'm like, okay, well, what can I do to bring value to the space outside of just a cool picture? And so I'm thinking, and it's the same thing that I just talked about. It's like personal growth is what I'm all about, man. I'm all about helping people, you know, get to that next level in their life and feel confident and just make the best life possible. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to just do it all myself because I don't know everything. But what I can do is bring on massive successful mentors and have the NFT be like connected to this personal access and basically be able to be coached by successful people. And so what Light Bodies is I've delegated it to 3 factions. The first faction is called the Diviner, and that's basically like the metaphysical properties of us, like the supernatural. Like we're like humans are capable of so much more than we believe we are, because we've been like, you know, stifled forever. And so what we're going to do with the Diviner is bring on people like Bob Proctor, like Joe Vitale, the people like, if you've watched The Secret, all those kind of teachers, Joe Dispenza, the author of Becoming Supernatural. They're all, and like quantum physicists, people who know about our ability to like manipulate energy and create our realities. And so that's a huge thing that it's been lost forever. All this knowledge about this kind of stuff. So that's going to be one of the factions. And we're going to be bringing on people like that to write you personal letters characterized as like a metaphysical mentor from a different dimension. It's going to be fun for like the people who are writing it and for the people who are reading it.
Nice.
But that's just one faction. That's the one we're releasing first. And then the second one is going to be like just badass, successful, like athletes, successful, just anybody who has gone on this journey and pushed through massive obstacles and then came out on top. And like MMA fighters, you know, they get ass beatings constantly, but to be able to push through that and like have the motivation to see the championship, even though you have a broken face, and still believe that you can get there, that takes like dedication, drive, it takes hunger. And that's a different kind of human that can do that, but we're all capable of it. So we're going to be bringing on people like that who can, you know, teach you how to create that in yourself and really, you know, help you reach the next level in your own life. And then the third faction is going to be all about business and entrepreneurship. And so we're going to be bringing on people like Gary Vee, like all these massive, successful entrepreneur influencers, and to help you with business, with entrepreneurship, basically creating your own economy underneath yourself. So it's going to cover, you know, happiness, health, and wealth, which is just like the 3 main parts of life.
Yeah, man. What do you think currency will look like in the future? Will cash even have value?
I don't think so, man. I don't think there's much life left for the dollar.
Yeah.
It's scary because
totally,
when a whole globe uses like the same type of currency, I don't know, man. It can be scary and it can be cool, but it's a 2-way street. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, let's talk about Squatch Dogs. I'm a believer, first of all, of Sasquatch, but one of the reasons I started podcasting was I wanted to understand why MMA fighters want to get punched in the face. And that same theory or question applies to entrepreneurs. Why do we want to get punched in the face and we keep going? And you certainly got punched in the face many times in this journey of starting Squatch Dogs, man. And where'd that name come from, and what makes the Squatch Dog so good? Because I still have to get out to your stand, man.
Yeah. I want to see. I'll cook you up with the best one.
Nice.
But basically, I mean, Squatch Dogs was like I've tried to start like hundreds of things, man, and it's so hard to go from working for someone where you work, you know, 5-8 hours and then you get a paycheck like after 2 weeks,
right?
And all you had to do was just be there. And it's like going from that to working for months without any pay in hopes that it works,
right? And
then doing that over and over and over again. It's like it's a punch in the face, man. It's true. It's kind of like the same thing. And it's just hoping and believing in yourself enough to push through that work. And that's probably the biggest differentiator between success and failure in this game is if you see it as a failure or a lesson, and believing that you can learn from it and then succeed, or if that's it and it's over. And that's where it was so hard in 2020, because I'm like, dude, how am I even going to make any money with this business that I just try to double? Like, I didn't even use my second setup because there was not enough gigs.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to kind of push through sometimes, but it's all about just taking the punches and learning the lessons, and then using the lessons you learn to not mess up next time.
Right. Totally.
Getting through that. And so, yeah, it's just crazy I mean, I never really think about, where I started. I started making t-shirts in high school, trying to sell them. I sold fidget spinners on Amazon for like a month and a half. And then I have these like sunglasses that I sold. I tried to do like drop shipping, just so many different things that never really worked out in the long run, mainly because of subconscious blockages that said, oh, well, you have to work hard for money. So making money online, that ain't going to happen. But basically, Squatch Dogs came from just branding knowledge about having a target market and kind of tapping into a niche. And I lived in Western Washington at the time, where you see Sasquatch stickers on the back of, half the cars on the street.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, that's a whole thing. That's a community of people that are like, oh, I live in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, and that's where Sasquatch is from. So I'm going to tap into that. And at first that was my second idea. I was first going to call it Raw Dogs.
Okay.
After like the Eye of Ra, and it was going to be all Egyptian themed. But then, I started telling people about it, and they're like, yeah, no, that's inappropriate. And you're going to be allowed at no Little League baseball games.
Totally.
So I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. No mom is going to want their kid to go to Raw Dogs.
Right.
So I had to rethink my strategy, and Squatch Dogs is the one. It was, when I thought of it, it was almost like someone like told it to me, and it was like a memory. It was weird.
Yeah.
But that's where it was born.
Come on.
It was in Western Washington in the Northwest.
Dude, that's awesome, dude. So good. So good, man. Like, you have all this stuff going on. Where's the best place that folks can connect and follow and support you?
I would say probably Instagram. Okay. I've just been having my head down. I've been like super focused on this one thing that I'm doing, the light bodies. I have to draw like so much stuff, and I'm hiring a website developer. He's working on the website now.
Nice. But
I think I'm going to be posting most of my stuff on Instagram, just because it's the easiest place to post.
Yeah.
And I like posting like pictures and videos and stuff. So yeah, it's Tyler _McCullough on Instagram. And then you can follow Light Bodies on Instagram and on Twitter. I think it's at Light Bodies NFT. And yeah, man, I got some good stuff coming. I'm excited to where we're going with this thing. I see a lot of potential.
Come on, man. And I'll put all the links down below in the description as well. I like to finish my show off with a fun question. I'm a big music guy. So what's your favorite type of music, or do you have a favorite band that you like to listen to?
Oh, man. Greta Van Fleet right now is on the top of my list. I just got a Black Eyed Peas The End record on vinyl.
Oh,
and
nice.
That's been on repeat. And then I'm gonna do three genres.
Okay.
I love classic rock, but the new age is Greta Van Fleet. So we're going rock and roll, Greta Van Fleet.
Nice.
We're going pop as Black Eyed Peas, and then we're going reggae with Stick Figure.
Okay. Nice, dude. Nice. I saw
reggae.
I saw Black Eyed Peas play at Bumper Shoot like in 2003. And this was back when they still had Fergie. And
Fergie was on my wall, and as a kid, I had a poster of Fergie on my wall. That was like my crush growing up, was Fergie.
Totally. That's awesome, man. Dude, Tyler, you are an absolute world changer, dude. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, man. You've got so much awesome stuff coming on. Yeah, dude.
Thank you for having me, man. This is so fun. We're gonna get you on. I want to do a podcast with you on mine too. So I'm excited to do that one, because I want to learn more about you. This is all about me.
What's going on? Thank you so much for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Hey, I just wanted to do a quick introduction. If you've not seen my show, or you don't know the services that I offer, I wanted to drop them to you right now. One, I do voiceover work. So if you're looking for a voiceover person to cover your motivational videos, or maybe it's Kickstarter videos or whatever it is, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out there. I also work with brands on brand and product videos. So they'll send me their products to do reviews or box openings. let me know. I'd love to work with you on your product as well and help you get that product out there. I also love to be able to share my story. So if I can make an impact on one person at your next speaking engagement, let me know. I love to talk about my story. I love to talk about how our past does not define our future, and morning routines and being consistent, how to be around those successful people that are just going to lift you up. Let's chat about having me speak at your next event. Let's make it happen. Again, thank you so much for checking out this show. Check out ericallenmedia.com. Really appreciate your time. Have an awesome day.